my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Perfect. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Richard Salele. I'm the Information Security Officer for University of Johannesburg. I'll be presenting a topic around securing your mobile device as part of our cybersecurity themes that we have for awareness purposes. We are actually lucky to be getting this presentation because of October. It's marked as a cybersecurity awareness month across the globe. So today's topic is very important because of all of us are having mobile devices that we use to connect to the cyberspace. Okay. So just to go through the presentation. Yes. So I'm just having technical difficulties there. I'm trying to move through the slides and okay, there we go. So just a bit of an intro. So who's Richard? Richard is actually the Information Security Officer, and I have about 15 years or so just doing purely cybersecurity. So I had the opportunity to work for the banks. I also consulted, worked for one of the big 4 audit companies in SA. And then the last 5 years, then I joined University of Johannesburg, where we continue to strengthen the security controls in systems. We made sure that the systems are audited, we minimize the risks, and actually reduce the exposure that we have in terms of vulnerabilities that might attack us. So on the slide, there are my contact details if maybe you need to get hold of myself. The email address is there and the work telephone number. So today's discussion is very important, like I said, because of all of us are using mobile devices. And whether you are with your kids or with somebody, when you go anywhere, Wi-Fi becomes a need. You need to be connected to the internet, and your battery life is to actually sustain your connectivity into the cyberspace. So, but before I go into my my topic, I need to actually explain what cybersecurity is and what cyberspace is, so that I can be able to link nicely what securing mobile devices has to do with cybersecurity. So cyberspace is actually a virtual environment where it's not a physical platform that exists. So it's kind of complex because of it is a combination, or it emerges from what we call people, which is us, organizations, cell phones that we use to connect to the cyberspace, and all the other technologies and networks that are connected to the cyberspace. And then what cybersecurity is then is concerned about securing that exact cyberspace to make sure that while you are actually in that virtual platform, you are actually secured. The virtual space, the space that is actually now the cyberspace, it also comes with threats. So a few of the threats that I'm going to talk about now is pertaining to applications, because of you realize that whether you're using a laptop or you're using your cell phone, you would need to install or download certain applications, being it Facebook, being it your banking applications, so that you can transact with other third parties. But at times you find out that downloading these applications, they will come with a whole lot of advertisements that will bother you when you're trying to use your device. And at times you also get, we call them pirated software, because of you get them from friends and stuff like that. However, these also come with what we call maliciousware. It can come with a spyware that can be able to see what you are doing on your device. And then the other nasty one that we know about is actually the keylogger. So the keylogger actually captures the keystrokes as you type your password and your username to either log into one of your applications. So the keylogger, if it has been downloaded onto your device, it will then capture all those keystrokes. Eventually, it will gather your username and password, and at a later stage, it will send them to a third party that can reuse them. That can be reused against you. So the guys can be able to log into your account and be able to transact. If maybe it's a social media type of account, then they will be able to do posts on your behalf. You'll just be amazed that people are complaining that you're sending them funny messages while it's the keylogger that actually took your credentials and send them to a third party. Then the next one is what we call social engineering attacks. So these types of attacks, then they actually concentrate on compromising you as an individual. So the tactics are not basically around the technology aspects. They are more on the human side, the soft side of things. So now what happens here is that you might find that you're getting an SMS that has a link. And then on that SMS, there might be some sort of agency to say, there's something wrong with your account, and we need you to actually click on the link and confirm that everything is still all right within your account. So just because of it is your, you think it's coming from your bank, you then rush into clicking onto the link and providing your username and password. So we just need to be careful around them. So that's the agency part that plays on your emotions. And then because of you think something is happening urgently now, you end up clicking on the link. And then the other one, some of the threats that we see is information sharing, whereby we see people sharing their personal information on social media, or the people that they have entrusted their information with. They then go and reshare that information on with other third parties. At times we have consented to that. Other times we haven't even given consent for our information to be used like that. Okay, so I just need to explain what a threat agent is. So threat agents are those people that are actually now on the cyberspace, looking at to how can they exploit applications, or how can they actually exploit individuals. So they do this based on three things. So it's motive, and then the capabilities of their subject, and then the intention. So let's start then with maybe the motive. So if people know that maybe you are kind-hearted, and based on the information that they can gather on the cyberspace, then they will be able to send you something like a message saying maybe they don't have food or stuff like that, to play around how you behave. And then when you get such a thing, you then react quickly and say, hey, there's a person who needs help, and maybe you'll end up transferring certain amounts of monies to these people. And that way they would have scammed you of your own money. And then their intentions then is either they can do it for fun, to actually boast, to say, oh, I've hacked so many people, or I've hacked these types of organizations. So they can now have some sort of breaking rights amongst their peers to say, I was able to hack certain types of institution. The other types of intentions is then crime related. It's either they wanna get into your account and withdraw cash, or they wanna get into an organization and steal important information that they can use to resell later to the company's competitors or to other people in other countries that are interested in that type of information. So why are threat agents important? Threat agents are important because of once you start to know their modus operandi, it becomes easier for you then to protect yourself. Because of now when they send you SMSs that has links, you know, you don't need to click on them, or you also need to confirm that if maybe you suspect an email is coming from somebody you know, you also need to confirm that with a phone call to find out, hey, have you actually sent me this type of email requesting maybe a payment? So that will help. But it also helps us as the security industry to develop and deploy controls, because of once we know what the threat agents are, we are able to actually now create controls, create awareness sessions like these ones, so that people can be aware of the threat agents and how they operate out there. Okay. So this is then pertaining to your phone. I've talked about the SMS that are containing links. Please don't click on those links because of they might be taking you to wrong sites, or the links might be seeded with malware that will end up being downloaded onto your device. And then the other thing is copycat applications. So lately, when you go into the Google stores or any stores of that are out there, your application stores, when you are looking for an application, it becomes very, very murky because of you don't know which application is actually the right application to download, because of there's so many of them with similar names. So you need to actually associate the writer of that application or the creator with the company, the legitimate company of that. For example, like Dstv, you know that your Dstv app should be coming from MultiChoice, not from any other person out there. So when you go into your app store, those are some of the things that you need to look at. And then you will also see that on your phone, you also get an option to actually download applications from untrusted sources. So if you do that, then it means that any application that doesn't come from the App Store can be downloaded on your device. So you just need to make sure that you have that option ticked to say only download from trusted sources. And then lately we have these smartwatches and near frequency devices that we enable on our phones. But if you have that smartwatch, you need your Bluetooth will always be on. And if your Bluetooth is always be on, it does not only mean it can communicate to the watch that you are wearing. Other people who are around the area nearby can actually send you a malicious code to your phone, or they can actually send malicious code now to your smartphone. So we just need to be careful, especially when we have our Bluetooth or our near field frequency turned on. If we are not connected to smartwatches or to any other devices, it's better for us to actually switch off Bluetooth. Then the next part, then we talk about what we call as privacy settings. So this will apply more on your social media accounts to make sure that you limit the information that you share with the public, because of such information can be used against you at a later stage. For example, if you share your phone number on your public profile. Most people who are connected to you on Facebook, or people who are looking at your profile, even if they are not your friends now, they will be able to get the phone and then harass you a little bit later, because of it will be people who will be calling you that you don't know of. Okay, so some of the guidelines that I have created for you today. Make sure that on your laptop and on your mobile device, you install what we call anti-malware applications. So the traditional name that we used back in the days is an antivirus. So just make sure that you have an antivirus installed and it's updated to make sure that whatever applications that are installed on your device, the antivirus can go and scan them and see if maybe there's something sinister about those applications. And this will help you a lot, because of most of the applications, especially the free ones, they have a tendency of taking information and sending it to the owner of that applications at the late. So we just need to make sure that we have an antivirus installed. Then the second point then is around Wi-Fi. So when we use Wi-Fi, we just need to make sure that there's that little lock on the Wi-Fi icon. So that means that the encryption on the Wi-Fi connection that you're using is actually now on, and whatever communication that you have with anybody who's on the internet or on the cyberspace is now secured. So you will need to have that little lock on that Wi-Fi sign. Then you know that Wi-Fi is a bit secured. And if you look at my diagram here at the bottom, is trying to show you what an unsecured network looks like and the risks around that. Because of if your Wi-Fi is not secured, somebody can be in the middle. This is what we call a man in the middle type of attack, where the information that's traversing the connection that you've created, somebody can now see or intercept that that connection and see what you're sending. And this might be the information that you're sending might include your usernames, your password, or even sensitive information. So we just need to be extra careful when we are connecting to unsecured Wi-Fi. And then information that resides on your phone. So we just need to make sure that there's an extra layer of encryption to make sure that the information is secured, and other applications that are installed on the same device don't have access to that particular information. So most of the phones, like your Samsung, will have secure folders. So if you know that the information is sensitive, rather move that information into your secured folder, and then it will ask you to maybe put a pattern or some sort of a password to make sure that we are securing that folder. And anybody who needs to get into the folder needs to have that password or that passphrase. Okay. Then the last one is to lock your screen. So this is making sure that after using your phone or any of your mobile devices, lock it. Because if you don't lock it, people can snoop around and actually now look at information that we're not supposed to look at. For example, if you have taken a picture of something and you actually give it to someone and say, hey, just have a look, here's a picture. In less than 2 minutes, the person would have scrolled through all your pictures, even though you were showing the person just one picture. So let's just make sure that we lock our screens. Also, if you don't lock, there's what we call bump dialing. Your phone might start now dialing people or sending funny messages to people because of the movement of that phone in your pocket, and it might activate certain types of apps as well. Perfect. So the next topic then is application permissions. We just need to make sure that we understand the types of permissions that the applications that we are installing have. So I just took two of these, which is the radio, and the other one, it was just a game. And if we look at the permissions here, when we're looking at the Talking Tom picture, we can see when we look around the storage that it actually modifies, it deletes contents, and it also reads contents that are on the SD cards. But the question is, how would it know which content to delete and which ones to actually modify? And then when we look at the second picture, we actually see now under contacts that it goes around and it finds accounts on the device. I mean, this application is only a radio. So if it's a radio, why is it looking for accounts that are actually existing on your device? So we just need to be extra careful. Other application builders are kind of fair because of before you even install it, you have to accept the permissions prior. If you don't accept, then the application doesn't get installed. But other people, they get, because of they want the application, they don't even look at what the application permissions that they are giving into the application. So we just need to be extra careful when it comes to this. All right. So this is what I was talking about earlier. So these are the screenshots that I took. So the first one, it was around Talking Tom. There was actually a list, a long list. But we can see from here that there's so many of these Talking Toms, and at least on this one, we can see all of them are coming out from the Outfit 7 Limited. The only difference is that when you look on the second column to the bottom of each and every application, is that the megabytes that are used are actually now different based on the type of Talking Tom that you actually need to download. And then I'm going to move into the middle picture that talked about Dstv. So if you look at the service provider here is MultiChoice. So this is the right company that should be giving us the application. So you know that this is the right one. But if you look towards the bottom, the second point at the bottom, so now here's a remote control for Dstv that's been written by 7th Street. I mean, just by looking at this, we know that this it might work when you install it, but it's not a legitimate application that comes from MultiChoice. Perfect. Then on the third column, towards the right, we can also see that there's so many of these guys that can write this application. If you look on the third one from the top, is also a DSTV player, but now this one comes from DreamStreams TV. So if you don't know of such or what to look at, you might end up downloading the wrong application into your device, and that's not what we want. Hopefully that's clear. All right. Then the other thing that we've seen, especially around mobile devices, now we're talking cell phones, all right, is that people would complain that either their airtime gets finished quickly or their monthly bills is actually high, and they didn't know what the cost was. But then we were able to actually trace it to applications and actually visiting of certain sites. So we've seen that free apps at times they contain a whole lot of those malwares and also spywares. Over and above this, it's gonna be all those adverts that are coming through into your phone. And so what happens is that once you've installed most of these applications or visited certain sites, is that they would create what we call a some sort of a subscription. And then that subscription then goes into your service providers, your network service providers account. So now when you buy your airtime, then because of the subscription, then you need to pay maybe R7 or something. At times it's even things like your caller tunes. You're trying to call somebody else, and then maybe by mistake you pressed 1 to accept that caller tune, and then maybe on a monthly basis that caller tune then debits your ISP service provider's account, that R3 or whatever amount, and you wonder as to whether a time actually finishes or what's happening with your account. Okay. And then the other telltale sign that shows that you might have a problem on your device then is when the battery starts to to deplete very quickly, and the phone now starts to become hotter. Then you might know that there is some background applications that are actually running on the background. So they will consume your battery, and others will also consume your airtime or your data. So what can be done with this? So firstly, just go into your phone, and any application that you're not using, please uninstall. And then some of the free applications that you've downloaded that have those annoying adverts, just also try and uninstall those as well. And then the second step, then it will be for you to actually now give your service provider a call and just ask them what subscriptions have been loaded onto your account. They will let you know which subscriptions are there. And then if any of the subscriptions you don't agree with, just let them know to remove those subscriptions. And then also try not to share your device with too many people, because of at times you give a person your phone, by the time you get it back, now there's a game that has been installed, or the person has went into a site that actually now has included a subscription onto your account. So let's just be careful around sharing of devices. Okay. The next one is actually credential reuse. So credential reuse is when you guys have multiple social media platforms and you use the same username and the same password across all of them. Because of that, hackers now, they actually know that if they can just compromise one system, the accounts that they get there or the user, the login details, they can reuse them in other platforms. So to be safe, use stuff like your password save, your last password, and try and have different passwords for each platform. And I've spoken to many people around this, and I mean, what they're saying is making sense from a usability perspective, because of there's only one password that you need to remember. And it makes it easy for you. But it also makes it easy for the attacker if one of the accounts then gets compromised. So oversharing on social media. So this I need to emphasize on. You could be the biggest risk because of the type of information that you publicly share. You could be the biggest risk. to yourself. So we just need to make sure that we actually limit the amount of information that that we share with the internet. And there's a question there on my slide. There's just that's saying, just how much is too much. I also believe that we should just be modest. Let's rather limit, and only on need to know type of basis. Only then we should reveal our information. So let's stop and think before we post or before we share information with other people on the social media platforms. Okay. So there are, especially now on browsers, your Chrome, your Internet Explorer, Firefox, there's actually now a block that requests us to actually now save passwords on the browser. This is helpful because of when you need to visit that site again, your credentials will be automatically populated and you'll have access to maybe your Gmail or whatever account you're logging into. But there is a risk to this. All these passwords are being saved somewhere on the browser. And if a person has a password to your phone or your laptop, and they have a little bit of know-how as to how to retrieve the passwords from these browsers, they will be able to retrieve all of those passwords that are saved. And those passwords, now they can be able to log into all your other accounts at a later stage. So I would advise against saving the passwords there because of that particular risk. Okay. So one of the things that we actually need to do, especially when the phone is new and continuously to across the lifetime of a device that we have, is to actually activate a Find Me and to constantly back the device up. So the backing up will assist you in two ways. If the device gets lost or stolen, then you know that you have a backup maybe somewhere in the cloud, or you have a backup on your external hard drive. And at least you wouldn't have lost the information if you've backed it up, even though you have lost the device. So around the Find Me app, so normally when people get the new phone, we're so excited to set up other things except this Find Me app, so that at a later stage, if the phone is lost, we can be able to trace it up. So these types of apps, you just log in with your email address and some sort of a password, and it's able to tell you or trace where the phone is. In case the phone is on, by the time you log in, you will be able to see the location of the phone that has been lost or stolen from you. So I would like to emphasize the backing up more because of it will help you in terms of the information. Because at times, if you look at stuff like your cameras, if a camera is lost, most of the photographers, they actually want the content that's inside, and us as security professionals as well, because of we're dealing with sensitive information. Over and above the backing up, we also make sure that we encrypt to make sure that even if the device is lost, people can't get hold of the data that resides within the device itself. Okay, so I think that brings me to the end of my presentation. I'm not too sure if maybe there's any other questions around the topics that I've presented.
Richard, if you can stop your screen share. There is a question on the chat. Can you see it? from Lana Thomas.
Just give me a sec. Let me see.
She says, is there a particular antivirus that we need or one that is free so that we know if we should spend money on it? Or is there free antiviruses that do the same job as an expensive antivirus? That's the first question. Do you want to take that question or shall I read them both?
Okay, let me take that one first. So there are free antiviruses that are as good as the ones that you buy. The advantage about the ones that you buy is that once you subscribe to them, they will give you those daily updates, and at times they have additional components into the antivirus solution. Because of at times it's not only about the antivirus signatures that you need to get. It's also about the behavior of certain applications that you've installed. So if you normally lean towards the ones that are purchased, they have those little modules that will help you even identify behaviors that are not correct and be able to alert you in time for you to be able to cap maybe any malicious activities that are happening on your device. So what I will do then, Reneke, I will also try and share a list of trusted free antiviruses, and then the guys can then download them.
Okay, thank you so much, Richard. The next question is, if we have downloaded these types of applications, can we delete the application and download the application again without the same access applying, or can we start afresh and deny certain accesses?
So basically, it would be advisable for you to actually uninstall. But the problem with those free ones or maybe pirated type of software is that there's certain keys or certain things that they add into the registry of your computer. And then when you try to reinstall, then it becomes a problem. At times, even uninstalling that application, it becomes an issue because it doesn't fully uninstall, and then it becomes a problem. So I think for us not to have such, it's best to install legitimate applications from the onset, because of there, at least we know we won't have such issues. And even if those issues arise, you still have that contact or that line with the maker of the application to say, this is what I'm experiencing. But because of now it's licensed, there will be resources that will be made available to you to make sure that whatever you're trying to do, being it either installation or uninstallation, then you have proper or adequate support that will help you.
Okay, thank you, Richard. I don't see any other questions in the chat. If you have anything to add so we can round up, thank you.
Okay. I think I don't have anything to add at this stage, except that we will be making a series of these events with the library, and then we'll be touching on different topics every time. And I would like to encourage the guys who are listening then to inform the others so that we share the knowledge. And I mean, only by us being informed, then we would know how to actually protect ourselves from the cyber attacks and these cyber criminals. Thank you, Reneke.
Sorry, Richard, thank you so much. I think I missed a question in the chat. The last question is the built-in password savers on your phones really secure?
That's a nice question. It's all of these password savers, password application savers. You should understand that for you to access a password a save, you need a password to it. And then once you have that password, then the application is open for you to have a look at all the other stored passwords that are in there. All right. So on its own as an application, yes, it is secure because of even that information that it stores. It actually encrypts it and makes sure that other applications can't access it. But then if we are a little bit careless or we are a little bit negligent in terms of protecting the password, the main password that has access to the password safe, then the application would not be as secure as it should. So the real answer is that yes, it is secure, but we are also the holders of the keys to the kingdom. So we need to make sure that even that password, the major one that opens the application, is protected. So that's the only